Hello everybody, this is Gabriel Show here. Now then, when we last left off, Deku had just gotten informed by a mysterious stranger that this little potion, or needle, or injection, whatever you want to call it, can heal All Might. Now then, he's thinking that if that's true, then they just need to get more. So, where exactly would they find it? This actually confuses a lot of the people who are analyzing it, because this stuff has some unknown chemicals in it. This is impossible. It must be made with somebody's quirk. Now then, it does show signs of blood cells, but they have been tampered with and altered. Now, let's continue. A couple of days have passed and everyone has been chilling out. Deku and Jiro have been getting to know each other better, and this is whenever All Might would actually burst into the room. Let's say he bursts into the common room, yelling that he is here and he needs to talk with Midoriya. As soon as that happens, this is whenever All Might would just say that he has been thinking a lot on this and he will take the injection, but he is not sure what will happen to his body. So, he will do it, but this is going to be painful, isn't it? Oh, possibly a lot. But if you awaken the conduit ability, just know it is not going to be pretty. What do you mean? Well, the pain of doing this, as he would just light his hand on fire, he would just say that you kind of still feel that. Oh, that is not going to be fun. As All Might actually injects himself with a needle and presses down on the plunger. You just don't see the All Might immediately just begins spazzing out for a second as he actually forcibly buffs up. As he does so, this is whenever you actually see that his wound is somewhat healing. It would heal up to about... Well, I already did say All Might was healed, but this will heal him even further, bringing him from his 90% to actually boosting him up to his 100%. Now, as soon as All Might did that, he would just say that he feels like he just gained 20 years of his life back. It's incredible. Now then, he is actually wanting to test this out because he hasn't felt this good in years. Now, Deku would just say that, okay, All Might, that's nice, but what about Bakugo? Ah, yes, well then. As All Might just says, they found a possible lead on Bakugo, but they need conduits. Or, I'm sorry, they need your guys' help. Okay then, well, do we still have anything on the beast? No, actually we don't. Whoever this man is, it's a very big mystery. And it is going to be for a while. But we may just have to figure that out soon. He'll have to show up again. Now then, let us go. As Deku would tell Jiro that they need to leave and that they need to go against the beast. If not, they're going to be going with All Might to get Bakugo. Ida would just say that that's very, very reckless and you can't just say you're going with All Might, and All Might would just walk in saying that he never said Deku was going. He said everyone was going. Everyone with the conduit stand up. As everyone stands up, Mei would be the only one who hesitates, saying that she's not really the combat person. Her conduit's only good for tech. Well, I do suppose you can just stay behind. Alrighty, as she just walks into the next room. Now, everyone will be gathered up and actually just getting things ready. Deku, he actually slips a little bit of items into his jacket and people are somewhat confused. He would just say, yeah, I don't think I ever mentioned this, guys. As he just unzips his jacket and opens it up, he shows that he has some concrete, some paper, a little, basically like a glow stick with neon in it, and he has a match along with a little crystal in a little glass jar. Along with the fact that music, that's a bit harder to get, since he basically has to be either near Jiro or he has to be near Todoroki to absorb the ice they produce. Along with electricity being somewhat easier. Now, they are then divided up into teams, and it is Deku. It's going to be Deku, Todoroki, and Shinsho on one team. They are told that they are going to be raiding the villain's hideout. Actually, all the conduits would go raid the villain's hideout. Everyone would arrive, and people are confused as to why Deku's got that giant chain. He would just say, "Oh no, you guys might want to stand back. Also, Kamari Woods, you may need to close your eyes." As he pulls out the chain and immediately just whips it. He immediately just sets it ablaze as they begin by busting through the villain's door. Shigaraki and everyone immediately just basically are in shock as Deku, he immediately goes to wrap the chain around Karagiri. As he does this, Jiro immediately just fills the room with sound as Toru and Kirishima work on trying to secure the villains. Toru's running through, tripping them up on doing all that, while Uraka is actually working on trying to make sure that nothing hits. Basically, the building doesn't collapse or do anything on the outside. Basically, if a villain jumps out the window and breaks something, she can catch the rubble with telekinesis, along with actually just taking the villain up in the air. Now then, they would catch the villains. They would actually have them under arrest, but before they could actually just do anything, this is whenever Deku and everyone else, they would see that Shigaraki and the rest of the league are being teleported away. Deku goes to actually grab Shigaraki, but as soon as he gets close to him, Shigaraki has already disappeared. Deku gets annoyed as he immediately just puts his hand up in the air, absorbing air, and he just keeps doing it, as he actually just launches off very fast. He's immediately just flying as Kirishima and everyone else immediately start heading that direction. Deku's thinking that they knew we were coming for them, they knew this was all set up, why, how, and Deku would immediately arrive at the other location. All Might was already there, and this is whenever All For One would just see him. He just says that it's quite surprising to see him. But he has made one fatal mistake. That little boy you had, Bakugo Katsuki, quite the impressive quirk. You gave him yours, though. Along with the fact that now he has that other one, plus he nearly escaped using his newest one. Newest? What do you mean? Ah, did you not know? He started floating off the ground one day. Floating? How? Ah, well, I guess you didn't. Now then, All For One would go on saying that it's very bad that you just let a student do that. Anyways, as he creates his All Might killing weapon, he immediately charges in to fight against All Might. But before he can get anywhere, Deku is immediately just comes in, punching him and blasting him with a missile made of air. This actually knocks All For One out of the way as he goes flying to the right of All Might. Deku just says to All Might that they knew we were coming. Bakugo was not there. As Shigaraki would just say that, of course he's not, he's right here. As you see Shigaraki holding his fingers up to Bakugo's throat, about to tap it with his fifth one. Deku sees this and he immediately was about to start running as Shigaraki just said, You don't want to do that, do you now, hero? Oh, damn it. Now, as soon as that happened, Deku was thinking of a way to get Bakugo out of that situation. Bakugo has no way out. So he just does one thing he's always tried. He immediately just starts thinking about his left arm, and he actually does start forming Black Whip. As he's doing this is whenever he actually creates an artificial arm out of the whip. He does so, and he actually just turns his hand as he immediately just swings it backwards, attacking Shigaraki by wrapping him up with it. Shigaraki's about to tap his throat, but Bakugo just begins by covering his entire neck upward and downward with Black Whip, creating his basically a Venom suit. As Shigaraki's all five fingers touches the whip, Bakugo just immediately retracts it as the whip is somewhat messing up, but that piece would just fall off. Bakugo then would immediately just turn around, trying to attack Shigaraki even more. Now, while this is all going on, the Beast is watching. He just is smirking, thinking that, well, things have changed up a bit, but at least we're back on the right track. To be so young. Well, just remember, man. Remember, this is to make us stronger. This is to make us stronger. They need to prepare for us. They need to prepare for him. He is... I don't think... Are they strong enough yet? I've killed too many people. As the Beast is going through this moral dilemma, let us cut back to everyone else. Bakugo is actually using this new hand and actually testing it out quite a bit. Throwing explosions, doing as much as he can, along with actually trying not to float into the air. Deku basically just grabs him with telekinesis, bringing him back down to the ground. Saying that he's a dumbass. Well, what do you expect? Been trapped for a couple days, dude. Yeah, well, guess what? As everyone else arrives. All For One and All Might are still fighting, but Deku just says that they need to help All Might. Bakugo just says that he's on it as he comes down and actually just launches towards All For One, actually punching him in the face with 100% of his power. It doesn't break his arm, but it does hurt like hell. As this just threw All For One out of All Might's path. All Might immediately just congratulates them by saying that that was quite impressive, but this is going to be just the beginning. Prepare yourselves as he gets back up. As everyone immediately just starts getting into positions, Todoroki immediately just starts throwing ice in that direction as Deku does the same. He copies Shinso's abilities, or Todoroki's abilities, copying his ice, throwing it in that direction, and this is whenever All For One immediately starts charging back. Everyone immediately just brings up their hands as they just begin firing on All For One. All For One's being hit with fire, ice. He's being hit by these sound waves that are vibrating the entirety of his body. All being hit with spikes that are basically trying to take over and dig itself throughout everything. He's also being hit with neon, which is very, very weird. and Deku actually switched off to smoke, as this is basically very painful to be hit with. Now then, as they're all firing, All Might's actually impressed as he actually brings his hand back and he immediately just tells everyone to move. They would do so as he throws it forward, actually throwing a shockwave straight for him. All for One immediately just gets thrown backwards through another building as they are all fighting. All Might just says that they did a good job, but just let me take it from here. They immediately tell All Might that they're not doing that, and he needs as much help as possible. Because they see him struggling against this guy. They immediately just all link up together. Deku basically just links them all up, saying that, okay, everybody, I have an idea, but do you guys trust me? Okay, well, first off, what's the idea? Well, Shincho, I have a very, very reckless, stupid, and a very acidine idea, which might take out the entire city block. Oh, so just one of your ideas. Hey, fuck you. Well, you gotta be more specific. Okay, first off, remember that thing I did during the final exams? Where you nearly blew up Ground Zero? Yeah. Kirishima, you remember what we did whenever we were fighting against that explosion? I need you to make walls as high as possible to protect civilians. Toru, I need you to run through and actually try and help everyone. Jiro, help Toru. Uraka, you're on damage control. Todoroki, Shinsho, and Kendo. I need you guys to help me with one thing. What is it? I need you all to use your conduits. Shinsho, you remember what we did during the sports festival? Oh, I know exactly where you're going with this. Alright, let's go. As Shinso immediately just turns on his conduit, scorching himself with fire. He immediately starts flying upwards. Todoroki gets picked up by Deku using telekinesis, and they just all begin flying straight up. As soon as that happens, Deku reaches into his jacket, getting concrete, and he immediately just begins forming it around him as much as possible, creating a giant ball that he is actually using telekinesis to hold up. As he just makes it bigger and bigger and bigger, he immediately has Todoroki covered in ice, as Shinso is actually there too. He immediately just starts going straight downward, actually going to do the orbital strike. He basically just does that, and All for One is knocked on his ass once again, as he is watching this distraction. Todoroki actually goes down and joins him, as he would just throw as much ice at him as possible. Deku just keeps forming this thing up bigger and bigger and bigger, as Kendo immediately just helps Deku throw it to the ground. Todoroki hits the ground, and he actually just creates a ginormous ball and mist of ice. He would actually somewhat destroy All for One's mask because of how cold it's getting. One of the wires would pop. Todoroki and Shinso are actually just fighting and trying to hold him off, actually making Todoroki use his fire quirk, as this immediately just begins melting the mask to his face. He would have to rip it off and actually throw it away, scrapping it. As that happened, Todoroki and Shinso, they would immediately just look up, as they just begin by blasting All for One with as much power as they can, and Shinso would immediately just fly off, as Todoroki just creates a path of ice actually just sliding onto it. Now, All for One is confused, as All Might would just basically run in and immediately just punch All for One from behind, throwing him up into the meteor. As soon as that happened, All Might would immediately just say 1,000,000% Delaware Smash, as he just punches that direction, obliterating everything in front of him, destroying the meteor, as Ochako would actually just basically strain herself by just making sure all of the rocks smash into All for One. hitting him from every single direction. As that happens, this is whenever All Might, he would basically find All For One after all this, I'm not sure what to call this super move or special move, but they would take down All For One and All Might would just raise his hand up in victory. Now then, before the battle is over, a man walks out from the shadows. He just watches, and he's actually clapping. This man, he just introduces himself. Well, you guys did do quite well, I will give you that. Oh, great, another villain. Oh no, 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 no. I'm not just a villain. As he just starts having his eyes glow, people are watching. Everyone immediately freezes as they realize that this is the Beast. Everyone immediately just runs in and actually just stand off with All Might, saying that if anyone is going to fight, then it is going to be them. They're not running from the sky. So it did work. What? What are you talking about? Well, let me let you in on a little secret. As the man immediately just rips off his mask, he would just reveal that he is Bakugo Katsuki from the year 2119. People are confused as they see this man. He has no facial hair, he has scars, and he has burn marks all over his face. He would just say that it's very nice to see everyone once again. People immediately just look straight at Bakugo as Bakugo just looks at them. Who are you and how do you know? Well, who are you and what are you doing here? Why do you have my face? Well, let me just say one thing. Multiverse theory's a bitch. Well, you certainly sound like Bakugo. Shut it, Kirishima. I really have to explain this to you. As he immediately just begins by basically scorching off his shirt. They see that he has both arms, but he does have a scar. He has scars all over his chest. He would just say that he is from a future where conduits did not awaken yet. Well, by yet, I mean, in my future, the first conduit to awaken was him. As he points over to Deku. He didn't awaken until the day of the entrance exam. They actually had to cancel it. In fact, it was quite the disappointment. It pissed even me off. But then one day I woke up with these abilities. Finding that my explosions, they're stronger. And I can actually turn into one. So, not only can I do that, I can go even further. Turning my entire body into fire, into magma. I found that I could do anything I wanted with my power. So, I thought I was invincible. Until he got one little quirk. He was so excited and ecstatic. He thought that he was the biggest guy on campus. He had gotten your quirk, All Might. As people are confused. He got All Might's quirk, what are they talking about? Listen. Float. Black Whip. And One for All. All ones you're currently using right now, aren't you, Katsuki? As people look over, they actually just see his arm. Wait, that's not your bionic. As people immediately start turning towards Bakugo. Bakugo just says that he doesn't know what's going on. They don't believe him, as he just says that, listen, I've become as strong as I can in my future. Because after what happens, I can't tell you what happens, but there is going to be an event where All Might will die. He is going to be the first one. Then it was Deku. Then it was Mei. Then it was Kendo. Then it was, as he immediately just starts covering his mouth, he just says that, never mind. But this is what I did. After, you guys haven't found her yet, but whenever she masters her quirk, she sends me back. I have plans. I have tactics. I had funding. I had money. Everything I needed to save you in my time. But after learning that I lost my arm here, but nothing happened to me now, I realized it was pointless. When he comes, he will kill everyone once again. I hope to make a future where we are all stronger. A past where our abilities were insane and intense. But in doing so, I messed up even further. I created him in the first place. That is what I did, and it's driving me insane. Anyways, this is going to be your guys' final test. You have to kill me. As he immediately just plunges the needle into his neck and hits down the plunger. And he begins to grow in size. Now then, that is where I'm going to be leaving off this episode, guys, and there is my plot twist. The Beast's identity and exactly what he is. Now, I do hope you guys enjoyed the video, and somebody already guessed it in the comments. So, whenever I told you multiverse theory was a bitch, I really did not expect you to think it was Bakugo. I had it planned out to be him from the very start. Everyone kept thinking it would be All For One, or it would be Deku. But it's not.